Welcome to week 5. I don't know about you, but I'm having a great time learning. It's one of the many benefits of being a lifelong learner. Regardless of how many times I review this course material, I always learn something. And of course, I also learn from you, from your experiences that you share in your assignments as well as in the discussion. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. This week, we're going to focus on how to develop a communication strategy. Now, we're going to do this from the perspective of marketing and advertising, but the process is applicable to a wide variety of communication strategies. So if you're not in marketing and advertising, feel free to apply this to something that's more close to home. You'll be better able to apply the course-related principles, and it'll mean more to you, just as long as you focus on developing a communication strategy. Now, one of our texts, Percy and Rosenblum Elliott, talks about this notion that in developing a communication strategy, the manager must first establish communication objectives. First, establish communication objectives based upon desired communication effects. Now, those of you who have been in public relations or other related fields, you may relate to what I'm going to share. Many times, I've had people within the organization, sometimes the leader of an organization, come up and say, "We need a video. We need a trifold brochure. We need a slick 8x10 glossy fact sheet." They've already rounded third base heading home. We haven't even stepped up to home plate and figured out where we want to put the ball. So typically, what I try to do and what I advise other strategic communication advisors to do is to reel back a little bit and let's talk about a couple of things. What is our desired effect, and to whom are we communicating? When you have those pieces of information, desired effect, intended audience, then we can talk about some strategy, or rather some tactics based upon strategy to meet those desired effects to those desired audiences. You may want a video, and that may be the best tool to reach that audience with this intended message for the desired effect. But there may be something else that is much more efficient and more effective. So keep that in mind as you develop these strategic outcomes. All right, you'll also begin outlining your essay. Now keep in mind that you'll begin formalizing your ideas. You'll do this with full sentences, outlining the introduction, the body, the conclusion. And you'll also want to make sure that you include the primary rationale for the paper. Why are you writing this paper? Why is it important? Think about major themes and findings based upon your review of the literature. We've got plenty of readings in our syllabus. There are also other readings that you should depend upon to support your essay. Now, as part of your discussion this week, you're going to look at McGuire's communication response sequence. These include such things as presentation, attention, comprehension, yielding, retaining, behaving, and the like. Now, as part of answering the discussion question, you'll explore how your organization's promotional material, how does it leverage persuasive effects? Now again, if you're not in public relations and you don't put out promotional material, no worries. Think about a communication that you're responsible for or that you've observed within your organization, and how does it leverage persuasive effects? Have you ever thought about it that way? Hopefully after this course, you'll take a more strategic approach to promotional material as well as other communication within your organization. You'll also want to look at McGuire's sequence as it relates to other studies that we read this week. I'll give you an example. Goldstein, easy for me to say, Gruskovicius, sorry about that. Goldstein, Gruskovicius, and Caldini, 2007. They describe how social psychology theory can be applied to such mundane purposes as encouraging guests to reuse their washroom towels. Now, I travel quite a bit, and I noted several years ago that they started putting cards in the restroom asking you to participate in a program to help save the environment or keep your costs low. All these different reasons to hang up your towel. I'm an environmentalist. It didn't take much persuasion for me. I'm happy to reuse my towel the next day. If it's going to help somebody, I'm happy to do it. But this study looked at the different language used on those cards and how that language persuaded or did not persuade guests to reuse their towels. So something kind of mundane, things we never even think about, that's how you can apply learning, apply theory, apply research to something that has real consequences. It may not mean a whole lot to us unless you're in the hotel business, but if you have a hotel chain that has billions of dollars worth of income based upon the number of guests you have, and part of that income is spent on washing towels, think about what impact that could have. Just a few words on a card. So that's kind of a business case that I recommend. It was very interesting. And by the way, I apologize for messing up Griscovicius. My last name is Plexico, so it's easy for people to mess up last names. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. Remember, stay ahead with all your assignments, stay engaged in the discussion boards, and enjoy this time of learning.